Hey everyone, it's me, Matt. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be repotting the large pothos plant on my front porch, and I thought I'd show you all the step-by-step process. So let's get started. All right, spinning you around, here we are at my front porch. You can see I've got several plants in this space. A lot of them are pothos plants, but I've also got a purple oxalis, an orchid, a white impatient plant, and some ferns. Coming in a little closer, this is the pothos plant we'll be working with today. This plant is about 10 years old and it's been in this metal container its entire life. I've repotted it a few times over the years and it's definitely in need of a repot right now. So first things first, you definitely want to assess the plant's health before repotting. The main signs of a healthy plant are upright, vibrant green foliage. The leaves shouldn't be wilted or limp and there should be no signs of pests or disease. This pothos is definitely a good candidate for repotting. Like I just said, I've currently got this plant potted up in a metal container. Unfortunately, the bottom of this container is rusted out. I was actually moving this plant a few weeks ago while I was sweeping off my front porch, and I noticed the bottom was practically falling out, so I'm glad to be repotting it today. So since the old metal container is rusted out, I picked up this new ceramic container for this repotting project. You can see this pot has this great design on the outside, and it's also got a large hole at the bottom for drainage. This pot is also slightly larger than my old metal container. If your pothos has outgrown its current container, you should select one that's a few inches larger than the current one to allow the plant room to grow. Pothos plants can tolerate confined spaces, but they thrive when their roots have room to spread out. So next, I'm going to gently remove my pothos plant from the old metal container. I'm really curious to see if it's root bound. As you can see, this plant is a little root bound. You can see all these roots circulating around the bottom. So for the next step in this repotting process, I'm going to shake off as much soil as I can and do my best to untangle some of these roots. I'll clip off any of the really tangled sections as well as any roots that appear to be dead or rotted. Alright, so I've removed all the soil from the roots. These roots actually look good. They untangled really easily. You can see they're all firm and whitish in color, while rotted roots are brown and mushy. So now that my plant is prepped for repotting, let me quickly go over the soil I'm going to use for this project. So pothos plants like well-draining soil. I picked up a few bags of this Miracle-Gro tropical potting mix. This potting mix is specifically formulated for tropical plants, including pothos plants, spider plants, snake plants, and fiddle-leaf figs, among many others. This potting mix can be used for both indoor and outdoor potted plants. It's packed with nutrients and it's supposed to feed for up to 6 months. And because of the potting mix's unique ingredients, it's also less likely to attract fungus gnats. I'll be sure to link this potting mix in the video description for reference. So now for the fun part, let's get my pothos plant all potted up in its new container. All done, my pothos is all repotted. I did my best to pack new soil around the root ball. I also watered it in. It's always a good idea to water your plants in after repotting because it helps the soil settle around the roots. If you notice that the soil level drops after watering, be sure to add more soil to your container, ensuring the root ball is completely covered. There we go, my pothos plant is back in its home on my front porch. This is definitely the perfect spot for this plant. Pothos plants like bright indirect light and should be placed in an area where they aren't blasted with direct sun. When it comes to watering, I plan to water this plant on its normal watering schedule about every 3 days. The soil should dry out slightly between watering since these plants prefer moderately moist soil and not soggy conditions. A good rule of thumb is to check the top inch of soil. If it feels dry, then it's time to water. You want to be careful not to overwater because that can lead to root rot. When it comes to a regular fertilization schedule, like I said, my Miracle-Gro tropical plant potting mix should feed for about 6 months. But for even better results, you can start a regular feeding program about 30 days after planting. I'll be sure to link some fertilizer options in the video description for reference. Overall, I'm really happy I was able to tackle this project today. I know my pothos plant is probably really happy to be out of that old rusted metal container too. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found all the information useful. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can follow along in future videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.